contrast actually between their works that are on display here this evening. They're two distinctive artists in their own right, presenting us with, I think, very different canvas from what they've actually presented to us. I note with Tatiana, I love the scene of Grafton Street there in the background, which is wonderful and it's so vibrant. I equally actually have to say personally, I love the Shelburne. I think it captures very much almost an old world, but yet it reminds us it's very part of modern Dublin as it is today, particularly since its refurbishment. And indeed the landscapes and the scenes of the boats in Connemara and the sea views there as well are really terrific. So there's great variation in terms of, that's the Taoiseach telling me. There's great variation even among Tatiana's own work of what is on display here this evening, and I'm sure there will be many people will want to add to their art collections. Equally, Mark, on my right-hand side here, I think the portraits are stunning. I think they not just capture, which is very interesting for me looking at them, not just capture trying to do a portrait, but actually capture the energy and the vibrancy in different angles in the way they're being presented. I mean, I was looking at Liam Gallagher, which is just behind us here. I mean, it is almost like a photograph actually in the moment. It's so realistic in terms of the interpretation. The strain in the neck, hitting the nose, whatever, is absolutely brilliant, as equally as Bono beside him as well. And all of the other artists, whether they're film stars as they are with Marlon Brando and Clint Eastwood, or indeed sports personalities like George Best or Roy Keane, or musical artists like Phil Lynott and Van and all the rest of it that are here. They're all extremely vibrant in their own way. The energy, and indeed the sense of the person, if I could put it that way, comes through in the individual portraits. I mean, one can relate to them. I don't know any of these people personally, but I can relate to them. I might have their music, or I might know well of George Best or whatever, or sports stars, or Roy Keane or whatever. But the actual sense of the person, I think, comes through very much. And I equally love, which Mark tells me is done for the first time, the portraits of the tigers, the big cats, so to speak. And they are absolutely tremendous. I mean, it's so difficult to capture any animal, but I believe the most difficult is certainly the cat, because it has such a particular, I suppose, parts to it, or whatever way you want to put it. I was saying to Mark, I loved the musical Cats, which I won't say how many times I've seen, but I saw the original. And I went back, I think it was the 10th anniversary, I didn't say this big to Mark, but I happened to be back in London at around the time of the 10th anniversary. And Mark asked me, of course, the obvious question, who's the artist? Not to say that I didn't know, but I bought some of the original portraits that were done at the time of cats. Now, there was only one ever done with the actual face of a person in it at the time. The rest of them are actually interpretations, but not human interpretations, actual feline interpretations. I bought two of them, and I'm delighted I did. I have them actually in my home in that farm. So I can understand and appreciate greatly the difficulty in creating and capturing the mood of a cat, which you've achieved for the first time, as you said to me, Mark, you'd ever attempted this before. So I think to Dermot and to Phil, we thank them for having the confidence to move forward, albeit in difficult times, Dermot. But as you said yourself, you have to keep moving forward. I think because of your reputation at the Green Gallery, I've no doubt that the view in a different space, in a different part of the city, but yet in a street that encapsulates antique shops and a certain sense of atmosphere in the street, that the view which you've created here this evening, which we launched formally, will, I suspect, do very well. But particularly to you and Phil for giving the opportunity to people who may have had a great difficulty over the years in finding a home to present in a public sense their artworks. You've achieved that, and it's working well for you, and indeed it's working well for the artists. So can I say to Tatiana and Mark to thank them for exhibiting